Welcome to another episode of the Jampack Report, today for April the 16th of 2021. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry. Hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week, it's your one-stop shop for everything you need to know. So if you enjoyed the show and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and keep coming back for more. Yesterday, we saw the Resident Evil showcase that a ton of people have been looking forward to ahead of the May release of Resident Evil 8, and there was plenty of news to break down. First and foremost, a demo is on the way to not only PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but also Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Stadia, and on Steam for PC players. But here we have a post from the PlayStation blog that talks about the first tier of demos that is coming, that is an exclusive agreement between Capcom and PlayStation. News comes from Kellen Haney, Associate Manager of Social Media at Capcom. Resident Evil has always had a home on PlayStation platforms, and we are happy to announce the PlayStation Nation is going to be the first to get access to a new demo for Resident Evil Village on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. This was just one of the many announcements at today's Resident Evil showcase, so read on for some more info on the demo, the return of the ever-popular Mercenaries game mode, and more. And of course, if you did miss the stream itself, you can catch that on the official YouTube channel. Ethan Winter's journey takes shape in a new Resident Evil Village trailer. Resident Evil Village is less than a month away, so we are once again entering the world of survival horror to bring you a brand new trailer that debuted earlier today. The creeping dead of the village is the least of Ethan Winter's worries as he plunges further into the unknown in order to rescue his kidnapped daughter and seek answers to haunting questions about why the heroic Chris Redfield has taken such a dark turn. Who or what will Ethan find waiting for him at the end of his journey, and what terrifying foes will he encounter along the way? The latest trailer provides a few clues, so be sure to check that out. Resident Evil Village gameplay demo and pre-download are both coming soon, and the pre-download, speaking of which, is available now. We know you've been waiting for this one. A new demo is on the way for both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, with a special structure that gives you a limited opportunity to explore the world of Resident Evil Village in the weeks leading up to the game's launch across 3 different windows of availability. The demo only needs to be downloaded once and will only be available during specific dates and times. You can check out the schedule below for more info. Brief pause. You are going to be able to play a demo on the Xbox platforms as well as PC and on Stadia, but it's a little bit convoluted as to how it's broken down. So first and foremost, these are going to be 2 individual demos, one for the Village section of the game and one for the Castle section of the game, and players have a limited time window to dive in and explore. First and foremost, the Village demo on PlayStation 4 and 5 is going to launch on April 17th at 5 p.m. to April 18th at 1 a.m. Pacific time. That is an 8-hour window to get in, and you have 30 minutes to play the game. Then the following weekend, April 24th through April 25th at 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pacific time, you are going to be able to dive into the Castle section of the game for 30 minutes. Then there is a 60-minute demo of Village and Castle, where you can go back and forth between the 2 areas, that is coming to all platforms on May 1st at 5 p.m., running through May 2nd at 5 p.m., so a bit of a wider window that gives you the opportunity to dive in when you can. The first demo period allows you to check out the snow-covered remnants of the titular village for 30 minutes, giving you a glimpse into the frost-capped remains of what once was, and perhaps giving you a taste of what the game's combat has to offer. Better keep your wits about you. The second demo period will drop into the halls of Castle Dimitrescu, where you'll be giving a separate 30-minute experience that is sure to be a bloody good time. Unlike the expansive village, the castle is full of narrow hallways and cramped corridors that make it difficult to tell what could be around each corner. The final demo period will give you a total of 60 minutes to explore both the village and the castle, and you are free to use those 60 minutes however you wish. How much time you will spend seeking answers in the village and how long you'll brave the castle's corridors to uncover its dark secrets, that's up to you. But we encourage you to share your experience playing and speculate on what secrets the full game has in store. On top of that, there is also the Mercenaries mode, which is coming back to Resident Evil Village. Survival horror meets high-stakes combat in the return of the Mercenaries game mode. This fan-favorite mode has appeared in multiple Resident Evil games since its introduction in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on the original PlayStation, and now makes an action-packed return in Resident Evil Village. As with previous versions of the Mercenaries, this arcade-style mode tasks you with racking up points and finishing stages quickly, changing the game's focus to fight against time to achieve a high score rather than the fight for survival of the main campaign. Just keep an eye on the ticking timer. Running out the clock means your time is up. Some new additions have been made to this mode compared to previous games as well. As you fight your way through locales filled with enemies, you'll be able to acquire useful bonus skills that can increase firepower, boost your move speed, or provide other beneficial effects. Each skill you add will help you take down enemies and rack up a high score for your current attempt, and will carry over between stages. Once a stage is completed, you'll be given the opportunity to spend your hard-earned coin with the Duke, a mysterious merchant from the main game, to buy supplies and upgrade your weapons before moving on to the next stage. The Mercenaries is an endlessly replayable mode that you are sure to want to try again and again. Learn each stage and discover new ways to take down waves of enemies as you chase down the highest rank possible. The Mercenaries will be included as a bonus mode for Resident Evil Village, and you'll need to complete the game's story before you can unlock it. We hope you enjoy this exciting twist on what the main campaign has to offer. Of course, there is plenty more news to unpack, and we'll dive into that more in a moment, but ultimately, if you do want to check out the demo itself, coming soon to a console or platform near you, very exciting times, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from Resident Evil Village. I like how it's trying new things with these additional modes and even entirely new additional games, such as Resident Evil Reverse, which is also being included for free with Resident Evil Village. It's the competitive multiplayer side of RE. But glad to see a demo is on the way, and I think that's going to go far in kind of selling this game for a lot of people and giving you a taste of what to expect as far as the combat goes. Coming soon, very exciting, and of course one of the biggest releases of the spring. You can also learn more about the Mercenaries mode on the official ResidentEvil.com page, which kind of gives you a rundown with some screenshots and some explanations of what you can expect. But if you don't want to dive into the castle or the village, you could want to dive back into Resident Evil 4, which is coming to VR on the Oculus Quest 2. No release date was given, and we just saw a couple of snippets of gameplay, but more information is coming during the Oculus Gaming Showcase, streaming live on Facebook and Twitch on April the 21st, so stay tuned for that. Another cool little announcement from yesterday's show. And if that wasn't enough for you, Resident Evil is coming to Dead by Daylight in June. There is a 23-second teaser that gives you just a glimpse into what to expect, but there is no definitive big addition to the game that is shown off. It's pretty safe to assume, though, that it's probably Mr. X or perhaps Nemesis. Those both make good sense for the kind of game that Dead by Daylight actually is. But more information is coming on May 25th, which is when the full reveal is slated for, so stay tuned for that. But of course, Dead by Daylight has added plenty of characters in the past from famous IP. As Game Informer mentions here, you have Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Michael Myers from Halloween, you have Saw. It's tons of new IP that are getting involved in this horror game, which is a very fun asymmetrical multiplayer experience. I dove in, gave it a shot a couple of years back, and had a good time with it, but more and more people continue to play Dead by Daylight, and so to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the franchise, it looks like they're getting in on some Dead by Daylight action. But if you need even more zombies in your life, Days Gone is coming to Steam and Epic Games Store on May the 19th, with plenty of support for all of those PC features we know and love. And this news comes from the PlayStation blog, which does come from Kevin McAllister, the online community specialist at Bend Studio. Days Gone is coming to PC. We cannot wait to see more players experience the epic journey of Deacon St. John, a former outlaw biker, now drifter and bounty hunter, trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic open world where danger lurks around every corner. Explore the sprawling Pacific Northwest high desert on your trusty drifter bike as you try to maneuver around collapsed bridges, abandoned vehicles, ambush traps, and blocked tunnels. Scavenge supplies from abandoned buildings to craft assorted items, barter with local camps, and gear up for the ride through an infested, ever-changing environment. Of course, this is one of the biggest PlayStation exclusives of the past few years, and it's one that has been in the news recently because reports suggest that PlayStation did not greenlight Days Gone 2, and instead Bend has been moved around on a couple of different projects over the years, now supposedly working on an entirely new project. But super disappointing to hear Days Gone 2 was not green lighted. While it did not hit my expectations, wasn't really something that catered to me, I definitely saw what people saw in it that did enjoy it. It's a cool game with a lot of good ideas, and the Horde technology, where you have a huge cluster of independent zombies all coming at you as a horde, but also individually. That is something that I had never truly seen before. And so fighting hordes that range up to 500 freakers at one time have never felt so real. Of course, you have 21:9 ultra-wide support and plenty of those bells and whistles you would expect from your PC experience. Very good looking stuff, and again, the game launches on May 18th on a range of digital retailers, including Steam and the Epic Games Store. Just another big PlayStation game coming to PC as they diversify their approach to online gaming and to gaming in 2021. You are going to be seeing more of these games in the future. Would not be surprised to even see PlayStation 5 games come to PC at some point after their initial launch periods on the main chunk of hardware. In the meantime, there are multiple potential buyers that are interested in Square Enix, but the company has shot down rumors they are going to be acquired. They have shot down any kind of rumors that anything is changing. However, the reports still exist, and I would say there's probably some validity to them. Every morning, they deliver the news over at Bloomberg, and of course, today's news is that several buyers have shown interest in Square Enix, CTFN reported, citing two bank officials familiar with the situation. It is not clear whether the game department is the only one of interest or the company as a whole. Square Enix's digital entertainment business accounted for 72% of the total revenue in the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2020, according to Bloomberg data. Quote, global mobile gaming growth may continue to slow, Bloomberg Intelligence said on November 11th, compared to 2020 when sales increased rapidly due to restrictions on going out due to the new corona disaster. It was said to be very severe. I do want to mention this is all translated from Japanese, so bear with me. But ultimately, the big core news story here is that multiple potential buyers have been interested in Square Enix. One of those is Microsoft. A lot of people have said they would not put it past Sony to also be involved. But The Verge's Tom Warren actually says this is not the case, sharing a screenshot of a press release straight from the company that reads, quote, Bloomberg has reported today that there is interest from potential buyers to acquire Square Enix. However, this report is not based on any announcement by Square Enix. We do not consider selling off the company or any part of its businesses, nor have we received any offer from any third party to acquire the company or any part of its businesses. This is something that a company that is potentially in talks would say to kind of calm fears. Their stock price has been fluctuating, originally skyrocketing. Now I'm sure that it will drop a bit, but to just kind of maintain the steady flow of operations while talks are being held, again, that's not something that would shock me at all. But the fact that Bloomberg is reporting this, that's what lends me to believe there is probably some validity to this. I would not be surprised if Square Enix was acquired by somebody, and Microsoft is again a company that is in talks for that acquisition, and that would pretty much be pretty par for the course for 2020 and 2021. I'll update you guys if any new information does come out. Of course, we cover everything right here on the Jampack report, but interesting times to say the least that multiple potential buyers could be interested in Square Enix. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this consolidation that we've been seeing because it feels like you are starting to get something that is akin to a monopoly that isn't a monopoly, but it could potentially have the same amount of harm. At the same rate, though, you do have companies that are now being funded by these overarching parent companies that can now work on whatever projects interest them. They don't have to worry about finances anymore. They now are able to work on the games that they want to work on, assuming they have free reign over their choice of project. And that could vary from company to company. Microsoft seems to have been pretty good about that, but other companies may not. Again, very much so up in the air. But we'll see if anything happens with Square Enix. In the meantime, IO Interactive has a brand new studio that is on the way. Announcing IOI Barcelona. We are proud to announce the opening of a new studio in Barcelona as part of our ambitious and exciting plans for expansion over the coming years. The newly established studio will be known as IO Barcelona and joins IOI Copenhagen and IOI Malmo as the third studio to work with our award-winning proprietary Glacier technology on all ongoing projects and universes, Hitman, Project 007, and a new unannounced IP. All three of the IO Interactive studios are treated as elite studios and will each make a significant impact to ongoing development and publishing efforts across all projects. IOI Barcelona will be located in the city center, and the core team is already in place. They will focus on establishing a studio culture and environment that will attract top talent from around the world and help us to achieve our own ambitious goals over the next few years and beyond. All of our open jobs in Barcelona, Malmo, and Copenhagen can be found on the IOI careers page, so apply if you're interested and you have the chops to make it happen. Establishing IOI Barcelona is an integral part of IO Interactive's plans for the coming years. With more to come from the Hitman universe, developing and publishing the first James Bond origin story, and a brand new IP in active development, the future for IO Interactive is as exciting as it has ever been. Cool to see that IOI is continuing to expand, and they are a company that has incredible promise. Very excited for this James Bond game specifically, but Hitman is a game that came out of the gate swinging, really kind of ushering in the next generation. It was the first big next-gen game from a third party that I can really point to that's not an annualized franchise like a Call of Duty. It really did kind of set the precedent for what to expect for the year, and fans seem to have enjoyed it. But a third studio has now been opened, and I would assume it's probably the one working on the new IP, but they might bounce around projects in between each studio. It's unclear exactly how that works from this specific press release, but between Hitman, Project 007, and a new unannounced project, it looks to be a very exciting time. Speaking of exciting times, if you want to know the future of Ubisoft, you can tune into Ubisoft Forward, which has been announced for Saturday, June the 12th of 2021 at 12 p.m. Pacific Time as part of E3 2021. Stay tuned for all the latest information about the lineup and announcements from our teams around the world. We will see more, but this is certainly the beginning of E3 2021 with the first major third party that is getting involved and showing when they are going to be sharing their press conference. So, of course, we'll be tuning in, and I will let you guys know all of the big announcements from this year's show. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed today's show, drop me a like down below and let me know what stories caught your eye, but specifically, what did you think about the Resident Evil showcase? Are you excited about RE8? Are you going to be diving back into Resident Evil 4 in VR? Or perhaps you want to tune into some Dead by Daylight action and make it happen with what is presumably going to be a Nemesis, a Mr. X, something along those lines. Exciting times to be a Resident Evil fan. But until tomorrow, you guys have a fantastic, well, there is no show tomorrow, it's Saturday. Until Monday, there we go. Who knows what day it is? Days are irrelevant after a year in quarantine. But regardless, you guys have a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you soon, and